There is this strange word which seems out of place in Bible readings on Good Friday services. Why did the prophet Isiah, 700 years before the death of Jesus, point out that the people looking at Jesus as he suffered saw no beauty in him? Were they expected to see beauty in a condemned man being tortured and executed? What does beauty have to do with God, or religion, or Jesus? This video explores the suggestion that our appreciation of beauty has a mystical dimension and is necessary for our knowledge of God. Consider the following. If a flower is placed in a person's line of vision, I think we will all agree that person will not need the faculty of free will to see it. And if the person naturally sees beauty in it, he or she will also not need free will to perceive its beauty. Beauty is like a two-edged sword. It can fill the heart with joy and awe, but it can also challenge us. It can be met with derision or envy, or it might prompt us to reassess beliefs we have grown accustomed to, beliefs we are reluctant to adjust. So, most often, we use our free will to oppose the truth or beauty of something, of some idea. Psalm 8 begins with the words, "The heavens proclaim the glory of God, and the firmament shows forth the work of his hands." In other words, God's beauty is everywhere. And do we not delight in the beauty of nature, and in particular, when we see people, even strangers, living in loving harmony with each other? But alas, we can choose to question the positivity of God's beauty, which is all around us and within us. We can choose to ignore it, and even to despise it. Or we can allow beauty to touch our most inner being. We can understand our negative inner motives, restrain ourselves from despising it, and let the beauty move us in some positive, even if humbling way. We can choose not to prevent ourselves from perceiving God's beauty in anything. Even as our capacity to see beauty is a gift from our Creator, it is not God who prevents us from perceiving Him in beauty and through beauty. In the spiritual life, all we need is grace, and not to defy its beauty. In a sense, holiness is a passive thing. It is all God's work. Hence the encouraging words of God in Psalm 46, verse 10, "Be still and know that I am God." Now, I am going to share a true story which on the surface might seem ordinary and irrelevant to any discussion about God. But bear with me. At 19, I witnessed something which would have evoked just light-hearted laughter. But there was something about the incident which seemed significant, and I have mused over it from time to time. Working in the government's materials laboratory, I was testing the concrete being poured on a site in Cuba. About 100 feet away lay a small road on which villagers occasionally walked, and my team of middle-aged laborers, while collecting samples from the cement trucks, routinely catcalled any woman who passed by. After about half an hour of this behavior, a girl, perhaps 18 years old, came into view. She was extraordinarily beautiful, and walked with unusual elegance, even as she seemed engrossed in thought. I expected the men to be particularly vocal in calling out to her with their, "Darling, take me with you na," lines, or, "Ya man must be the happiest man in Trinidad." But they were silent. For the 2 or 3 minutes it took before she disappeared around the far corner, they seemed entranced. The laborers all stopped working as long as she was in sight. And for a moment, even after she disappeared around the corner, they continued staring as if hoping she would reappear. Then they all looked at each other with the same strange smile, their faces depicting a countenance of awe. Finally, in unison, they all sighed. After that, they focused only on their work, but from then on, catcalled no one again. It was as if they were transformed somehow, which indicated to me that there was hardly any lust that tarnished their viewing of the young woman. If there was, they likely would have continued calling out to the women that passed by after. Lust being a vice which is no respecter of persons, and indeed, without grace, increases in the soul. But they were content. They were silenced, defeated by the very thing they tried to belittle, the beauty of a woman. Now, within them, there seemed to be a level of respect for the beauty they beheld, which transposed to all other women after her. It was as if whatever hunger drove their previous behavior was satisfied. You could say that despite themselves, they were converted in a way. They contributed nothing to their conversion except for their non-intervention in it. And now, the beauty they witnessed was sacred, and they could not bring themselves to profane the encounter. Of course, I could be wrong in my assessment, but that is what I perceived that morning. The memory of that incident remains vivid in my mind and has had a profound effect on my religious understanding about the potential impact genuine beauty has on us all. It probably enhanced a growing appreciation for the Blessed Sacrament in me. And sometimes, when the priest raises the host in Mass and proclaims as Jesus commanded, that what I see is indeed Jesus, lovingly offering himself to the Father for my sake, I do get so filled by his beauty that words fail me, and all I can do is drop to my knees in awe. Before he died, Jesus said one thing which is seldom preached about. In John 14, verse 31, Jesus states, "The world must know that I love the Father, and am doing exactly what the Father wants me to do." About 700 years before, the prophet Isiah stated that those who looked on as Jesus suffered and died saw no beauty in him. But it seems that Jesus wanted us specifically to appreciate the beauty of his radical, loving obedience to God the Father. Perhaps at the time of his death, the onlookers could not understand the beauty of his sacrifice because of its gruesome visual impact. But we who now have an understanding of the heart of the man may see his beauty and adore him, even as he hung on the cross. It seems to me that fundamentally, the Mass is where, unlike most at Calvary who saw no beauty in him, we are invited to be in awe at the love relationship between the Father and the Son. Secondly, that we are called to be drawn into that relationship through, with, and in the Son. Hopefully, this video will encourage more people to appreciate the beauty of Christ, of God, and of the beauty of the Mass. And if you got anything positive or interesting from this video, why not share it with some other person? Who knows what effect it might have in their lives?